Lukashenko, Russian nuclear weapons are on their way to Belarus.
Here's a summary of the article.
Self-proclaimed Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has said that Russian nuclear weapons have already begun moving to Belarus under bilateral agreements. Details: the Belarusian dictator commented on the agreement signed by the defense ministers of Belarus and Russia on the deployment of Russian nuclear weapons on Belarusian territory. A decision has been made to develop what had been said verbally. We had to prepare sites, storage and so on. We have done all that, so, the supply of nuclear ammunition has begun, he added. Asked whether Russian nuclear weapons are already in Belarus, Lukashenko said, "It is possible. I will come and see." Earlier on Thursday, the defense ministers of Russia and Belarus signed documents on the deployment of tactical nuclear weapons on Belarusian territory. Background: at the end of March this year, Russian President Vladimir Putin announced an agreement with Alexander Lukashenko, the self-proclaimed president of Belarus, to deploy tactical nuclear weapons in the republic. Putin announced at the time that the Iskander missile system, which can be used as a carrier of tactical nuclear weapons, had been supplied to Belarus.
This post received a score of 15,000, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Again? Do they repeatedly send them there and back again so they can announce it every week? Nothing new you can threaten the world with?
They should have flown him straight there on the Eagles.
Slightly off topic, but what's the reason they didn't use the Eagles to fly there in the movie?
Sauron would have spotted them miles off. The only reason the hobbits made it is because they were tiny and unseen.
I also want to add that hobbits were also picked because they weren't powerful. The rings seek out and corrupt powerful people, and the eagles are ancient, powerful, and the right hand of a god. If they weren't cut down in the skies, the ring would have done the work for them.
I'm rereading The Fellowship of the Ring right now, and one thing that stood out to me in the first chapter is how the ring affected Bilbo over the years. The ring latches onto the desires of its bearer and tempts them with it. The only reason Bilbo could last so long with the ring is that the highest desire for hobbits was to be long-lived in a nice comfy house with tasty food and be respected among the community. Bilbo never wanted to rule or be powerful, so the ring had nothing to work with for decades. The ring gave him everything he ever wanted, and Bilbo was satisfied with that.
You see the same thing with Sam when he has the ring. He is basically tempted with a really big garden. The pastoral nature of the hobbits makes them hard to corrupt.
I was just going to pull up this quote. It might be my favorite passage in the whole trilogy. Sam, Frodo, and Gollum are climbing the mountain and the central intelligence slips into Sam's consciousness. What begins as his desire to lighten Frodo's burden ends up with the vision that as ultimate master he'd enslave the world and make the entire realm into the most perfect English garden. Then he realizes his temptation and says, "No, not that, Sam."
I see, creating a motive to kill Belarusians in case of independence movements when Lukashenko is deposed, dead.
The second the exiled Belarusian government starts trying to get a hold on power, we need to secure the nukes we put in place. We're securing the country to make sure they're fine. This is definitely not an invasion. Yay.
Yeah, but who are they going to use to invade Belarus? All their top men are dying in Ukraine.
It is a pivot to a new threat. Definitely not a retreat out of Ukraine into Belarus.
Yeah, no. Maybe the Russians will realize someday, them screaming, "I got nukes" every other week, hasn't really done much for them.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.